Om Namah Shivaya. Taklakot to Gunji. Today, all of us woke up very early in the morning at around 3:30 and we were ready by at around 5:30 Chinese timing. The reason for this genuine sense of hurry is what is there ahead of us. Today, as you know, we are going back to India. But more importantly, today the batch coming from India to Tibet and the batch going back to India from Tibet will be crossing one another exactly on the Lippu Lake Pass. If for any reason the batch coming from Tibet gets delayed, the batch coming from India will have to wait on top of Lippu Lake Pass. You can well imagine waiting on the top of Lippu Lake Pass, and especially if the weather is really bad, it's a big punishment. All of us were aware of this. We wanted to ensure that the other batch do not suffer because of us. We have already collected our luggage which we have left behind in Taklakot's storerooms yesterday. We repacked our bags and handed them over to the luggage committee yesterday evening only, so that the necessary checks can be done well in time. The finance committee and the food committee has cleared the final bills for the cooks. We all individually presented our token of appreciation to the cooks and thanked them for the wonderful good services. We had an early breakfast and we were all ready to leave by 6 Chinese time, which is around 4:30 Indian time. The Chinese guides presented us with a Chinese government certificate of participation and completion of Kailash Manasarovar Yatra. After the certificate presentation, we moved for the immigration checks. As usual, the Chinese immigration authorities made us wait for about an hour before they even opened their office. Again, our passports were checked, fingerprints taken, and our luggage was randomly checked. By the time we finally got our clearance for our buses to move, it was already broad daylight. It was raining by the time we started from Taklakot. Till now, our batch has been very lucky that the weather has always been favorable to us. We have already received the reports that the batches after us had to face a lot of difficulties due to the bad weather, and the weather on the Indian side is already pretty bad. The landslides, the flood-like situation ahead of Gunji is so bad that the first batch and the third, fourth and the fifth batches are badly stuck up at various places. We were the only lucky ones who have been completing every mark as per the previously planned timetable. By the time we reached Lippu Lake Pass, it was completely covered with fog. There were landslides in a few places and frenetic work was on to clear the road. The buses had to stop about a kilometer short of the pass. We had to walk with our personal luggage. It was slightly drizzling. The visibility was hardly few meters, and most importantly, it was very, very cold and very, very windy. Even though we were spending the last 15 days in the high altitude area, this trek of 1 kilometer was more than what many of us could handle. By the time we reached the top of the pass, it was as if we had spent the last of our energy. The Chinese guides walked along with us till the top. In fact, they were so helpful that they even carried the personal bags of some yatris to help them out. It was a touching moment, bidding farewell to these two Chinese guides. We met the batch crossing over to Tibet on top of the pass. The condition of some of them was really bad. Some ladies were being administered oxygen. Everyone was freezing from cold. There was a sense of confusion in everyone's eyes. It was a relief to see the ITBP personnel and the doctors. The best part is, it was a great feeling to see our porters and ponies waiting for us with cheerful smiles. The ever loyal Indian porters sedged us out with the true warmth and true concern. We were really glad to see them there. We quickly started climbing down the path into India. The journey from now on was relatively easy, even though this is the longest journey on foot till date. We were to reach Gunji from Lipulek Pass directly. The same journey took us 3 days on the way up. But now it's all downhill from here, and we are going to lose the altitude. Hence we found it pretty easy to walk. Though the distance is more, the level of difficulty is less. Our liaison officers made a genuine effort to request for a night halt either at Nabidang or at Kalapani, so that we do not have to stretch ourselves too far. However, the request was turned down by the KMVN authorities due to various problems of accommodation and the likelihood of helicopter availability on the very next day. As we climbed down the slopes, the weather cleared up. Many of us, in spite of having ponies, we preferred to walk.
Guys, we just crossed Lipulek Pass. We are back in India now. Now you can see it was quite a harsh terrain. We are frozen throughout. Our mouth feels as if some dentition has given us some kind of a funny medicine. We don't know where our face is. Our feet are frozen. We had to climb quite a long distance because there was some landslide in between. But luckily all of us could climb. The other batch was waiting for us at Lipulek Pass. The moment we crossed into India, we said, at least I said, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. And now we are slowly going down. Yeah, you can see lots of fog, porters, ponies, confusion, lots of ITPP people. Anyway, I think you need to give me a break. I need to catch my breath. I'm cold. Bye. Okay guys, it's now 8:05 Indian Standard Time. Nice to be back to Indian Standard Time actually. As you can see, I'm slowly getting down from Lipulek Pass towards the beautiful country called India. It's still freezing here. The sun is slowly opening up, so I couldn't resist. I thought you must know how it feels. Yeah, this is the early morning scene while you're entering India. You would certainly feel nostalgic, and that side is the Chinese part of it. Okay, you're already quite inside, about 1 kilometer plus. We're there. Thank you. Gentlemen, this is the remnants of the Hepta which crashed a few years back at Nabidang. We already reached Nabidang. This is where we're going to have breakfast and then further move ahead. You can see the Hepta which is actually crashed. Nothing much remains but for a few remembrances. Okay, gentlemen, we are now at Nabidang. The time is 10 to 10 actually. Just finished my breakfast. As you can see, while we were going ahead, this was the place from where the Om Parvat was so clearly and distinctly visible. But today, unfortunately, it's full of clouds. You can't really see anything. the weather has packed up. So I don't know the previous batch whether they were lucky to have a good darshan. But otherwise, now this is what now the valley is. So myself and Madhu, we just finished breakfast. I have to walk another 9 kilometers, and Madhu will be on a pony for 9 kilometers. We'll reach Kalapani, where we'll have our lunch break, and then we'll proceed on to Gunji. Thank you.
We reached Navidang and had our breakfast. We collected our luggage, which we left on our way up. The Om Pavat, which was so clearly visible on our way up, was now completely covered with fog. We reached Kalapani by lunchtime. Here we had our passports stamped for entering into India. There were some local people selling Bhojpatra there. Many of us gladly brought them just to encourage them. Some of us collected the Kalapani river water. It started raining as we crossed Kalapani. We all had a good experience of how it feels to be completely drenched in such a cold. Luckily, for some of us, the army vehicles and the road construction vehicles going back to Gunji gave us a lift for a short distance after Kalapani. By the evening, we all reached Gunji safely. We had to get our names entered in the ITBP gate register so that all of us are accounted for. It rained pretty heavily in the evening and night. Our luggage reached us late in the night. It was wet without exception. The fifth batch was waiting there at Gunji to proceed ahead for the yatra the next day. Om Namah Shivaya. Gunji, waiting for helicopter lift. Today, after so many days, all of us got up comfortably at our own time. We rearranged our luggage, dried our clothes which were completely wet. We had lots of interaction with the fifth batch, who were actually occupying the same rooms which we were occupying before proceeding on the yatra. We had a group photo with the ITBP personnel. Then in the evening, we went to a very pleasant trek to various places in and around Gunji. In the evening, we had wonderful snacks in terms of momos and noodles in the local shops. Late in the evening, we had a conference with the ITBP personnel to give them a feedback about our experiences. And finally, a nice farewell dinner was organized by the ITBP from whatever meager resources they have. It was a beautiful day and a beautiful evening.
Alright guys, and, yesterday evening, as you are aware, we have reached Gunji, and yesterday night we stayed here. Today morning we repacked our luggages so that we are ready for the heli lift, and in the afternoon we had a photography session with the ITBP officials, and we also met the fifth batch, which is scheduled to go up. Actually, we were very lucky batch wherein we completed everything very comfortably. The fifth batch, half of it is still at Pithoragarh, because for the last almost 4 days it was raining heavily here. No hepter could land. There are lots of sick persons in ITBP who needs to be evacuated. Unfortunately, they are also stuck up, and the fifth batch of Manasarovar is also stuck up. We are on a little bit of a local adventure. We have climbed a nearby hill to go to the temple, and now this is the kind of terrain that is there, and that is the temple. We actually could come very close to reaching the top, but further ahead the way is not there. The stones have fallen apart and we really can't make much of a progress. So we decided to stop here, and that's it. Now we'll go down, and maybe tomorrow morning, we're not very sure whether we will get the heptar for us. Actually, there is more than one group which is waiting for the heptar effort actually. We are very lucky we completed everything and we came back to Gunji. So the first priority will be given to those people. In fact, some people have already reached Delhi and their luggage is still lying at Gunji. Nobody knows whose luggage is what. It's all solid chaos and confusion. So first preference will be given to lifting the sick people and the people who are not doing well from ITBP, Army, and of course from this yatra. And then the preference will be given to those batches which have already left. Then the preference will be given to those batches which have to further go to Kailash Manasarovar, and then of course we will be given the preference. So we hope that maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow we'll get our heptar effort. So maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow we'll get the heptar lift, and once we get the heptar lift we'll reach a place from where we will be able to make a few calls. So that's what it is. Thank you. Bye.
In the middle of the day, we had a group photo session with the ITBP personnel. At the same time, whatever medicines were left with us, we collected those medicines and presented them to the ITBP doctors. We also went to look up the various people who were admitted in the ITBP MI room, and we gave them the waters of Manasarovar and spent little time with them to cheer them up. In the evening, we had a feedback session with the ITBP personnel. Many of us profusely thanked the ITBP personnel for the wonderful job they are doing and for all the assistance they had given us. We had also put across some points, like for example, all of us felt that the Manasarovar banks are being filled with plastic. We requested the ITBP people to brief the future yatris to spend some time in cleaning up the shores of Manasarovar. We also requested them if they can take up a case to change the timings at which the various batches have to cross the Lipu Lake Pass. Instead of getting up so late in the night at 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock and trying to cross the pass, we requested them to explore some better times for the yatris to cross the pass. They considered all our points and promised us that they would do whatever is there within their powers to convey the points to the correct authorities. We had a wonderful farewell dinner organized by them, and it was a very touching gesture by the ITBP personnel. Since we have had a lot of time on our hands, the youngsters from our batch have started exploring the various local delicacies in the local shops. Our friend from Chennai, who had already explored all the shops, took us to a wonderful place where we had one of the best momos and noodles. It was not a shop actually, it was more of a home. The locals out here, they spend only these 3-4 months here in this particular place, and during winters they migrate back to Dharchula or Pitoragad. So it is their home come shop, come whatever you may call. But the kind of dishes you get here are really amazing. We were very conscious about eating from various places while we were going for the yatra because we didn't want to upset our systems. But now that we have completed the yatra and going back, we became little bold and we wanted to try all the dishes. But believe you me, they were so hygienic, so fresh and so fantastic. It was really worth a beautiful evening. In the evening, again we had the local people trying to sell the Bhojpatra to us. It was really a treat to see this old Kumaoni gentleman trying to sell them at whatever prices that we would like to take. In fact, most of us purchased the things from him just to encourage him. It was a lovely feeling sitting with that old man and having a nice talk in the evening there.